Verbal or life.
Welcome to verbalonlife. My name is Noel, battling MS, bringing you guys news that you won't get on the mainstream media. If this is your first time on the channel, go ahead and click on that like and subscribe button so like that we could grow this channel and provide it to more and more people. Shout out to the 1,600 subscribers so far on the channel. Thank you so much. We can continue creating these videos, and I know we're moving forward. Trick is never to give up. With that, let's take a look at the video.
New York has been losing millions of dollars as a result of retail theft, and New York City saw the largest surge in shoplifting since 2019 than any other U.S. city, according to a study.
Malls, supermarkets, discount stores, all shutting down because shoplifting here is now so bad it is a $4.4 billion part of the state's economy, and it's only getting worse.
Tonight, a massive retail theft ring bust in New York, leading to 41 people arrested.
Across the country, shoplifting and organized retail theft cost retailers an estimated $69 billion a year.
Box after box are removed from the home. Those Ulta Beauty products ending up on an Amazon digital storefront called the Online Makeup Store.
Now, I saw some people make videos that it's not really that bad because these are multi-million-dollar companies that could just file for insurance, and it doesn't matter that they're stealing from them. But at the end of the day, these multi-million-dollar companies will raise prices because of the laws, because of what's happening at the stores. And they will close out and just move somewhere else where it's more safe. So I don't completely agree with the idea that it's okay to steal from big top stores. But what do you think? Comment down below.
At deep discounts.
More than 80% of retail workers say that they are worried about an active shooter coming into their workplace.
We're back to the early 90s. They feel like the law protects them, like there are no consequences.
At a time when retail workers are routinely dealing with armed or violent criminals, their state assembly member is blocking an effort to create stiffer penalties for violent criminals that target retail workers.
The sheer volume of stolen goods fills a truck.
This is just one of several U-Hauls that is full of merchandise suspected to be stolen.
So a lot of stores are closing down. Like I said, this is going to cause these retail stores to raise prices and just move somewhere else. Let's be honest, we're doing a business to make money and also for safety. I mean, nobody's going to work at a store where it puts your life in danger. This is crazy.
So shoplifting is now one of the most profitable businesses in New York. But what nobody's talking about is that even though everybody knows shoplifting is a massive problem here, it's only going to get worse because state lawmakers just had the chance to increase penalties for retail-related crime, and they said, you know what, that's not a good idea. We're not going to do that. Meanwhile, every single store from your dollar store to your drugstore is a criminal's paradise. And we've seen brands like Target close locations, and one of the newest malls in New York City, which cost over $1 billion to build, is now completely closed. All the stores shut down inside over crime. All because the city's leaders think punishing criminals will somehow make the problem worse. But critics say not punishing shoplifters is why we now have professional shoplifters. This is what they do 40, 50, 60 hours a week, proving that crime pays in New York unlike anywhere else in the country. And critics also say shoplifting is a tax on the poor because every single time something gets stolen, it's another reason for retailers to raise prices, which hurts the law-abiding who don't steal things for a living. But to understand the real reasons why shoplifting here is such a problem, you've got to understand New York's laws don't just encourage shoplifting. No, they actually go so far as to protect criminals, allowing them to operate in ways that are so blatant and so visible, most retailers don't stand a chance.
It makes me ask, where are the adults in the room? Okay, we definitely see here that we need punishment. Why are they lowering the punishment for these crooks? Crazy.
So here we are inside Ulta Beauty, and stores like this are a massive target for shoplifters, not just here in New York, but all across the country.
A National Retail Federation survey of companies identified Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, New York, and Seattle as the top major cities hit by retail crime. Organized rings, as opposed to lightning flash smash and grabs, use what are called boosters to steal items that then go to fencers who resell them for cash.
I think people feel like it's hopeless.
So we know that New York has a $4.4 billion shoplifting economy, and in every economy you've got different people doing different things to allow it to get that big. And the people stealing from stores like this, they're just part of the equation, because stealing's only half the battle. After they get these products out of the store, they got to bring them somewhere, and they've got to get help to get them into the hands of customers. And behind each person who steals something off a shelf, there is an entire network of warehouses and distributors that help them get these things into the hands of people who think they're legitimately buying them. At the bottom of this pyramid, you've got the thugs on the street that are stealing, and at the top, you've got the millionaires who are making bank. For example, that overpriced product you found online, extra cheap, yeah, that was probably stolen from here. And in a city like New York, where stealing under $1,000 worth of stuff is just a misdemeanor, this is a recipe for disaster. Not just here in New York, but in every city with lax laws that don't punish criminals.
Prosecutors say the alleged ringleader, Ronnie Rubinoff, directed teams to go after specific items to steal. And alleged Rubinoff even signed a lease on a warehouse in New York with plans to open a department store-like facility stocked with stolen goods.
Now, organized retail theft, that's just one type of the shoplifting that goes on in New York City. And because of the internet, operations like this can thrive in ways they used to not be able to. And when the online store runs low on inventory, they put out the call to their thugs to go get more stuff. And criminals essentially have shopping lists of the items they're supposed to bring back. And what's crazy is every time a customer buys a stolen product from Ulta on Amazon, Amazon directly benefits, but the store here has to take the hit, which brings up the scary possibility that a company like Amazon doesn't really care about physical retail theft. It's not their problem. And we often hear from lawmakers that, oh, people are just trying to feed themselves and their families. But how in the world is that the case when you've got shopping lists, warehouses, and online marketplaces? And it's almost like many of the lawmakers that defend criminals want you to think that if you obey the law in this country, you're going to starve.
A massive retail theft ring bust in New York, leading to 41 people arrested. Authorities say it went much further than just petty shoplifting.
That's crazy. So the regular people who actually work, save money to buy these items are the ones who end up paying. It's not really hurting the millionaires when they're doing these behind the doors, backward deals and making money out of all of this.
Wow, that's crazy. So a year ago, $3.8 million worth of stolen stuff right here in New York. And since then, mega theft operations have been popping up all over the country. And we're not talking about Aladdin stealing bread to survive. We're talking about full-blown businesses with inventory lists, warehouse distribution, and packing facilities, all made possible by soft on crime policies that don't punish anyone for doing anything wrong. And think about it. If you can steal whatever you want in New York under $1,000, that's like having a get out of jail free card, and criminals know it. And because of inflation and the internet, you've got hard-hit consumers just out there looking for a good deal. These are well-meaning people buying this stuff. And half of America probably has no idea that when they make an online purchase, they're supporting organized crime. And the question...
And like, what's the deal here? We go to work to save money to actually buy items. And this is just disincentivizing people of doing all of this. Like, what am I doing? Following the law, and these criminals are just hurting everybody, making everything more expensive. And wow.
No one wants to answer is, could armies of criminals thrive in New York if they were all in jail? Probably not, but it isn't just stores with high-value physical products that are in trouble. No, in fact, even places that sell perishable items like food are in danger of shutting down. So here we are at the local supermarket, but because food is perishable in nature, operations that want to lift from these places are a little bit different than an online theft ring.
You gotta sell it within 3 blocks of the store, otherwise it melts. The other thing with the laundromat, they go to the local laundromat and they sell them the Tide soap and they sell them the the stuff that's available.
So I never knew why detergent was such a popular item to steal, but now it makes a lot of sense. Even the most unsophisticated of criminals can take something from a store like this and then turn it around into instant money at the nearest laundromat. Because in New York, most apartments don't have laundry in them. People are all using laundromats. Even we use one sometimes when our tiny little machine gets overloaded after a trip. But it's crazy to imagine that even food items are in jeopardy. And apparently when people steal something like ice cream, they run it to the nearest bodega and try to offload it.
So guys will go in there with a garbage bag, load it up with all the Haagen-Dazs in the place, run to the nearest bodega, unload it at the bodega. They have to move very, very quickly because obviously the clock is ticking because the ice cream could melt. Now,
that's crazy. I really just feel like saying this is Biden's economy, or this is the fault of Biden, that all these criminals, or maybe some people are saying this Soros, that is paying all these prosecutors to just lower the standards of getting arrested. You just heard what the guy said with $1,000. If it's under $1,000, it's a misdemeanor. Crazy.
So what's fascinating about this is that if you own a bodega, you may have set it up near a local supermarket to benefit from the foot traffic from that. But now criminals are showing up saying, hey, you want to buy 30 of these in a big black trash bag? Right now, they all still have the supermarket tags and labels and stuff on them. And if your store's losing money because of the high cost to operate in New York, you could turn things around by buying things at insanely low prices, which gives us just another example of how crime in New York pays, even for the people who don't do the stealing.
this particular guy was kind of crafty. He came up with a technique where they would mark the bottoms of all the Haagen-Dazs. So when they get stolen, they would go to the bodegas in the neighborhood, find the Haagen-Dazs, and then tell the guys, listen, if you do this again, we're going to get you locked up. It apparently served to...
These Haagen-Dazs are in a Target, not a Gristedes. They may or may not have some sort of special marking on them, but marking ice cream is exactly what they did at Gristedes, another local grocer here. And because the ice cream was marked, they could track down the bodegas that were supporting these criminals and tell them, hey, look, if you keep this up, we're going to press charges. And the sad reality is that if New York won't lock up its criminals, businesses essentially have to go to war with each other over this. But critics say either way, needy New Yorkers are those who lose. Because think about it like this. Any effort a store goes to lock up its items or to track them down after they get stolen, all of that costs time, it costs money, and that raises prices, which is a tax on your law-abiding citizens who don't steal. And what that essentially does is it makes the poor part of the very system that is destroying their lives.
Professional shoplifters that are wiping out the stores in New York, wiping out the drugstores. We have taken a position.
So the CEO knows. He knows these aren't people that are stealing to try and feed themselves. He knows that these are the professionals. Everybody knows. And this brings up a recent memory I have trying to buy basic items at a grocery store. Oddly, they were all sold out for some reason. But when I walked into my local bodega, their shelves were full for some reason. Now, does that indicate crime? Absolutely not. But it was an interesting coincidence.
He knows somebody who was getting a haircut in the Bronx. And a guy came into the haircutting place and basically was taking orders for stuff he would steal from the supermarket and bring to them. You know, it's almost like an...
So it sounds like instead of Amazon Fresh or Getir or any of these delivery services, you have criminal shoplifters who will go and get you every single thing you want on the shelf. That is absolutely wild. And it means criminals in New York fear absolutely nothing. And what's crazy about that is New York City recently had an opportunity to increase penalties on those who steal. But of course, the idea to do that was shot down, which means crime is just going to keep going straight up.
Well, there you have it. Shoplifting gangs in New York are causing stores to close down, prices to go up, and is raising risk of just working at one of these department stores. But let me know what you think. We're living in some crazy times, and I just want to report on that. I'm going to provide a link to the video down below in the comment section. But please comment down below. Let us know how you feel. My name is Noel, here at Verbal on Life, working on creating a platform. Shout out to the 1,600 subscribers I got on the channel so far. And with that, see you in the next video. Peace.
Verbal or life.
He's not lying.
Donald Trump, hero. He's our last hope. I'm going to expand on this. Donald Trump is the last hope of Western civilization. He can't stop the decay, but he can slow it down. If he doesn't win, it's over. If Trump doesn't win, it is done. It is over game. Because the circumstances around him not winning are going to be insane.